Hey everyone, this is Kim at Big Adventures. In this video, we're going to go over some troubleshooting tips that you may need while maintaining your Propel. This is how you remove a stuck lower cartridge. For this removal, you're going to need a 4mm hex key, a 6mm variable pin spanner wrench, a propane torch, and a breaker bar or tube. The lower cartridge gets tighter with use. We do not use Loctite on the lower cartridge threads during installation for this reason. If you are unable to remove the cartridge with the spanner wrench, using a propane torch, you can focus heat on the casting around the cartridge. Heat until very hot to the touch, about a minute or so. Try your 6mm spanner wrench again. If this is unsuccessful, attach a breaker bar to your wrench and give it another try. This is how you remove a stuck side cap. You will need a 7mm spanner wrench, propane torch, breaker bar to attach to your spanner wrench for extra torque, and a large pipe wrench, 24 inches for stubborn caps. As with the lower cartridge, you can use heat to remove stuck caps. Focused heat on the casting around the cap for about a minute or so. It is ready when the cast is very hot to the touch. Try the 7mm spanner wrench again. If this does not work, attach a breaker bar to your wrench and try. For extreme situations, use a large pipe wrench. Place the wrench on both sides of the cap and turn. Use of heat recommended. This usually destroys the cap but allows for new cap installation. This is how you remove a stuck lock nut. You will need a 25-28 hook wrench or a Park Tool Spa 1 for units 401 and 501, a propane torch, clean rag or towel, and heat-resistant gloves. If you have a stuck lock nut, wipe grease debris from the lock nut gear. Put on your heat-resistant gloves. Use the propane torch to heat the lock nut and surrounding area on the gear until hot. Hook the 25-28 hook wrench. Propel Series 401 and 501 units require a Park Tool Spa 1 or equivalent tool to remove the lock nut. Just place the pins from the tool into the slot on the lock nut. Secure the wrench fit with one hand while you rotate in a counterclockwise direction. This is how you remove stuck gears. You will need a gear puller, an M5 set screw, 2.5 hex key, and a clean rag or towel. We use the Posi-Lock puller model 202. Start with wiping the gear clean of grease. Then you're going to thread an M5 set screw into the spindle with a 2.5mm hex key. The set screw is not necessary, but it's a great way to ensure that you won't damage your internal threads. Now unscrew both T-handles on the puller to accommodate the width and depth of the gear. Place the center bolt over the spindle rod threads. Tighten the cage assembly, lower T, so that the jaw is securely behind the teeth on the bearing surface. Use the top T to thread the center bolt into the spindle rod until gear pulls out. This is how you remove a stubborn pedal body. You will need a propane torch, a digital torque wrench, 15mm wrench, 6mm hex key or pedal wrench. Using a propane torch, direct heat to crank arm surface around the pedal stem until hot to the touch. Then remove the pedal body with the 15mm wrench or digital torque wrench. Now we're going to talk about some sounds that you may encounter while pedaling your unit. You may actually encounter a clicking or a creaking in your boat while pedaling. This could be due to the crank arms not being torqued to the specified 26 foot-pounds, or the thwart tube latches are not fully engaged. And a third possibility is that the collar latch is not fully engaged on the collar. I recommend checking these three possibilities out and trying again. You may encounter a squealing or whistling coming from the lower end of your unit while pedaling. The most common reason for this is the seal in the lower cartridge. This can be remedied by oiling the seal. You will need the following to oil the lower cartridge seal: a 4mm hex key, a 6mm variable pin spanner wrench, 3mm hex key, adjustable pin spanner wrench, mineral oil, alcohol, cotton swabs, and a medium Loctite. We'll start by removing the propeller with a 4mm hex key. Now remove your lower cartridge with the 6mm spanner wrench. Reinstall the propeller on the lower cartridge without securing the propeller screw. Use the 3mm hex key to loosen, not remove, the screw. Remove propeller and pull propeller spindle down gently to remove the shear pin. Next, use the adjustable pin spanner wrench to remove the spindle lock nut. Apply oil to the seal, then gently spin the lower cartridge spindle back and forth to fully lube the seal. Now reinstall the spindle lock nut. Slide shear pin back into the spindle and push the spindle up into the cartridge and install the propeller. Remove the transmission screw with the 3mm hex key. Use the cotton swabs and alcohol to clean old Loctite. Drop 1 drop of Loctite onto the transmission screw and screw to 0. Test the tension by using the propeller to rotate the spindle. Make slight adjustments till you have reached the desired amount of tensions. Now we're going to allow the thread lock to cure for 24 hours. Next, we'll install the lower cartridge into the unit by first placing the cartridge into the lower cast. Turn the cartridge by hand while using your other hand to gently rock a crank until you feel the gears meet. Use the crank arm to back off slightly to center the gears and continue to screw the cartridge in until it stops. Tighten with a 6mm spanner wrench. Line up the drive pin for mating with the propeller. The underside of the propeller has a slot designed to seat the drive pin for a more secure fit. Match the pin with the slot and slide the propeller over the propeller shaft. Tighten prop screw with 4mm hex key. I hope these troubleshooting tips will help you as you maintain your drive. As always, feel free to reach out to us if you have any questions. Thanks so much. Have a great day.